Have you ever looked at a photo or a video and just felt like it transported you to another time? That dreamy, almost magical quality where the background seems to swirl gently around the subject? That's the vibe I'm talking about today. It's all thanks to a lens that's been a real creative companion for me, the Helios-44-2. Let me take you back to when I first got my hands on one of these lenses. I was in this phase of exploring vintage gear, trying to move away from the clinical sharpness of modern lenses. Don't get me wrong, modern lenses are amazing, but I was chasing something different, something with character, flaws and soul. And that's exactly what the Helios-44-2 delivered. One of the first things I noticed about this lens was its swirly bokeh. It's not just a regular blurred background, it's like the background is alive, gently wrapping around the subject. At first I thought, is this intentional or is the lens just flawed? But as I experimented more, I realized it's exactly those quirks and imperfections that make the Helios-44-2 so special. Here's the thing about the swirl. It's most prominent when your subject is in the center of the frame and the background is filled with repeating patterns like trees, lights or textured walls. The lens works its magic best at wider apertures like f2 and is even more pronounced if you position your subject about 1.5 to 2 meters away. But let's get real for a moment. Using the Helios-44-2 isn't always straightforward. It's a fully manual lens, which means you're adjusting focus and aperture yourself. At first I found it a bit frustrating, especially when I was trying to capture quick moments. But over time, I realized this was part of the process, part of the charm. It slowed me down in the best way possible, making me more intentional with every shot. And honestly, there's something incredibly satisfying about nailing that focus manually. I've also learned a few tricks to make the most of this lens. For one, lighting plays a massive role in how the swirl shows up. In bright, direct light, the effect is bold and unmistakable. In softer, diffuse light, it's subtler but still adds that touch of magic. And while it's tempting to shoot everything at f2 to maximize the swirl, sometimes stopping down to 2.8 or f4 can give you a nice balance of sharpness and character. What I love most about the Helios-44-2 is how it has taught me to embrace imperfection. Photography or videography for me have always been about crafting visual narratives, shaping stories and conveying meaning through imagery. This lens reminds me that it's okay if things aren't technically perfect. In fact, it's often the imperfections that make a shot feel real and alive. So, if you have ever wanted to try something different, to break away from the polished and the predictable, I can't recommend the Helios-44-2 enough. It's not just a lens, it's an experience, a journey. And the best part, you don't need a huge budget to get started. This little gem is incredibly affordable compared to most modern lenses. Now, let me show you a few clips I shot with this lens. I hope they inspire you to pick one up and start creating your own magic.